This conference will now be recorded.
चतुर्मुख समारंभां वाग्भटाचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। रागादिरोगान् सततानुषक्तान् अशेषकाय प्रसृतान् अशेषान् औत्सुक्य मोहारदिदान् जघान यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै। Namaskaram to all. So in our last session, we discussed the procedural detail about Vamanam and Virechanam following a proper Snehapana. Snigdhadravoshna dhannotta Svedamajaran Snigdha Treham Sthida Kuryad Viregam Vamanam Punaha Egaham Dinamanyaccha Kabhamulklesya Talkarai. That is what we saw in our last session. And now there are some, so with this actually the main body of description is over. Now there are some exceptional situations where we have to be more careful about the procedure, selection of medicine, and all those things. Such things are explained hereafter. First we find, I think actually we read it out in our last session, though not explained. We will find it today. Mamsala Medura Bhurishleshmano Vishamagnaya. Mamsala Medura Bhurishleshmano Vishamagnaya. Snehojitascha ye snehyaha. Snehojitascha ye snehyaha. Tan purvam rukshaye tataha samsnehya shodhayed. Evam स्नेहव्यापन्न जायते अलम मलानीरयितुं स्नेहश्च असात्म्यतां गतः. Now we will see what is explained there. Mamsalaha, those with prabhuda mamsa. Meduraha, those with excessive medas. Bhurishleshmanaha, those with excessive shleshma. Vishamagnaya, Vishamagnita is the shows the unsteady nature of or inconsistent nature of Agni. Vishama Agnaya. Snehojitaha cha. Snehojitaha. Those who are having sneha as uchitam. Uchitam is a word which can be seen used in different contexts. Uchitam. Sneho uchitascha. Uchitam in our common language we use it in the sense of suitable or right. But um, it has got other meanings as well. Sneho uchitaha. Chit. There is one word, one element in it called chit. Uchitam. That way, it shows the way in which something is uh, customarily nourished. Mm. So here I think that is the word or the meaning what we require here. Uchitam. How uchitam? Sneha uchitam. Snehena uchitam. Uchitam here means snehochitam. Somebody who is regularly or often nourished or made familiar, made acceptable, all those senses uh, with sneha. That is snehochita. So somebody who is accustomed with the practice of taking sneha regularly. So they are here known as snehochitam, snehochita. So for a group, so now we find a group. What are we? What are the which are who are the members? Mamsalaha, Meduraha, Bhurishleshmanaha, Vishamagrayah, Snehochitaha cha. Snehochitaha. So what are the commonality between these the members of this group? Mamsalaha means somebody who is having excessive mamsa swarupa sneham. It is excessive, not prakriti, not saram. It is excessive. Ati. Meduram. Medaswarupa sneham. In excess. Both of them will be bhuri slash mana. But specifically bhuri slash matvam is given because other than mamsa and medas, there are possibilities of excessive collection of shleshma. It can be in rekta, it can be in rasa, it can be in koshta, it can be in specifically in some avayava. Clinically, we can find many situations where bhuri shleshmatvam is the baseline samprapti. Bhuri shleshmatvam. So anybody, any condition where there is bhurishleshmatvam is evident. Vishamagnaya. Vishamagnita. What is the cause of Vishamagnita? Vishamagnita is inconsistent nature of Agni. What will happen when there is inconsistent nature of sneham? Generally, we know that it is a Vadiga condition. Generally, Vaishamyam of Agni is because of Vayu. So, obviously, there need not be any exception because Sneha is supposed to be the best remedy for Vayu. But what happens because of the inconsistent nature, the Vaidya cannot make sure whether the Sneha consumed will be uh, processed properly or not, whichever way we are planning to get it processed. It is not sure. Sometimes it may get processed, but sometimes it may not be. And there is a risk of uh, sneha ajirna. In such situations, there is a risk of sneha ajirna. Vishanagnaya. Snehojitaha. Snehojitatvam here is highlighted. What is Snehojitatvam? We saw that it is a condition where regular use of maybe a considerably large amount of sneha makes the system very much satmyam with the sneha. So that is sneha satmya. What is the problem of sneha becoming satmya here? When sneha is satmya, when sneha is satmya, the response of the agni, that is very important. The response of the agni towards the sneha may not be in a therapeutic way, may not be in the intended therapeutic way, because it is satmya. The sneha bhava is satmya. So even if you give some sneha in the form of some utkleshana snehapana or something else, samana snehapana, brahmana snehapana, agni need not take it as as such. That is why we find that satmi bhavit param, when we were seeing the limits of giving sneha in different types of koshta, trehamacham, mrudau koshte, krure saptadinam pibed, samyak snigdho odhavayavad, adah satmi bhavit param. So that sneha satmyada is against the basic purpose of snehapana. This is not, actually this is not limited to snehapana. This is true with the case of any treatment, and it should be understood, or it should be uh, conceived from the details what we see in the textbook, that body as a system with all its uh, members or avayavas like ojas, agni, trudosha, then panjavayu, grahani, or whatever it is, dhadu, this body as a system will be responding to a sort of stimulus, will be responding to a stimulus very aggressively for 7 days. For 7 days. Beyond that, the sharira and the stimulus, the system called sharira and the stimulus, they come to some sort of a truce or consensus of not troubling each other. That is why in a different situation we find saptahenam halalabhe kriyamanyam prayoje. That is one important point. And this is, it is because of the same reason that many a times the minimum time required for a particular kriyakrama is many a times decided as 7 days. When you go for, okay, shirodhara, we are posting it for 7 days. It is not just because of the weekly off of the staff or the doctor or something like that. It is because basically the body's response and its virulence start minimizing itself beyond this 7 days. But if the Vaidya feels that even after 7 days the stimulus works well, you can go beyond 7 days. Doesn't matter. So this seven that way is an important point, important number. Sometimes we find that it is because of the seven dhadus. It is not because of the seven dhadus. It is because of this time required on an average by a living system of a human being to act against a stimulus with a certain expected amount of virulence. So when you understand this point, you will reinterpret the outcome of any chikitsa, whether it is a kashayam or a gulika or a abhyangam or udvartanam or whatever it is, not as the work done by the medicine in the on the body, but it is the response from a living system to a stimulus from outside. So that way, any treatment is a stimulus which will provoke the system of the body to rearrange itself or reschedule itself in a way so that all the uh, doshas or dhadus or srotas which were going out of track comes back to their original state. It is something like when there is an attack to a particular area or a particular house or particular group, the entire members of the group show somewhat a commendable amount of unity. Previously, they may be quarreling with one another. There may be many issues between them, but when there is an attack, a common attack, all of them come together and make sure that the system uh, fights back and shows some sort of a stability. So, actually, the outcome of a treatment is the result of such an such a fight back from the body. So any medicine, kashayam, thailam, sneham, gulika, leham, or any kriyakramas like vasti or that samvahanam, udvartanam, the result is depending upon the capacity of the body to respond to this stimulus. And that capacity to respond depends upon the balam. It is depending upon the balam. That is why in every treatment, balam is going to be a very crucial factor. If there is no balam in the vyadhita, in the atura, even the best treatment is not going to be effective. Even the best treatment is not going to be effective. This is very important. So that is we when come back to the original sloga, we find snehojitaha, snehojitaha, sneha sakmyaha, those who has got no capacity to consider the snehapanam as a stimulus. That is the problem. So we find Mamsalaha, Meduraha, Bhurishleshmanaha. In all those situations, same problem is there. Vishamagnida indicates a status of inconsistent capacity or performance of Agni. Snehojitaha, again, Sneha Satmyaha. So, in a clinical situation, when you come across these sort of persons where you decide that they require a snehapanam, but their background tells you that they are mamsalaha, they are meduraha, they are bhurishleshmanaha, they are vishamagnayaha, they are snehochitaha, then what will happen? They are snehyaha. That is the situation. The situation demands that snehapanam is to be done. So then, what? How can you do? It is very evident that sneha is not going to give the required benefit. So what should be the strategy? Strategy is tan purvam rukshayed. Tan purvam rukshayed. You go for an intensive rukshana kriya in these persons. So even in Vishamagnita, if it is Sneha Chikitsa, you should go for a Rukshanam. So obviously you will have to be very careful in its application, no doubt. But as a rule, the textbook rule tells us that Tan Purvam Rukshayed. Then Tataha Samsnehya Shodhayed. Then you do the Snehanam and then Shodhanam. So previously we find Snehyaha means Shodhanarhaha. That is why they were opted for or they were chosen for Snehana. So Samsnehya Purvam Rukshayed Tataha Samsnehya Shodhayed. So first you go for Rukshanam, then Snehanam, then Swedanam, and then Shodhayed. Do the Shodhana Chikilsa. Evam, if done in this explained manner, Evam Snehavyapad na Jayate. Snehavyapad na Jayate. The risk of Snehavyapat is avoided. The risk Snehavyapat is avoided. Mamsalaha, Meduraha, Bhurishleshmanaha, Vishamagnayaha, Snehochitaha cha ye snehyaha tan purvam rukshayed tataha samsnehya shodhayed evam snehavyapad na jayate. Otherwise there is risk of snehavyapat in these individuals if you go for a snehana followed by shodhana. Then if you do this rukshana, you can avoid the risk of snehavyapat. And what else? Asatmyadam gataha snehaha malan irayitum alam. Asatmyadam gataha snehaha malan irayitum alam. So asatmyadam gataha snehaha. So in Rukshana Kriya, what we advised earlier, because of a properly done Rukshana Kriya, Sharira becomes Sneha Asatmya. Sneha Asatmya. And then that Sneha Asatmyada is attained. Asatmyadam gataha snehaha. Asatmyadam gataha snehaha. When that sort of a rukshana is done, asatmyadam gataha snehaha. The sneha which has become asatmya to the rukshida sharira is sufficient. Alam is sufficient for what? Malan ireidum, malan prereidum, for bringing out the desired ulkleshana of the malam dosha. So asatmyadam gataha snehaha malan ireitum alam cha. So 2 points. Number 1, स्नेहव्यापन्न जायते. Number 2, असात्म्यतां गतः स्नेहः मलान् ईरयितुम् अलं च. So this is a special situation. Now moving forward, I think the idea is clear. Now moving forward, we find next sloga. What is that? बालवृद्धादिषु स्नेहपरिहारासहिष्णुषु योगानिमान् अनुद्वेगान् सद्यः स्नेहान् प्रयोजयेत्. बालवृद्धादिषु स्नेहपरिहारासहिष्णुषु योगानिमान् अनुद्वेगान् सद्यः स्नेहान् प्रयोजयेत्. What is told? बालवृद्धादिषु. बालवृद्धादिषु. In people like Bala, Vruddha, etc. Adi. Balavruddhadishu. Bala, Balan. Vruddha, Vruddha. Adi, like maybe Garbhini, Sutika, Vyadhiklishtaha. Many other similar Durbala Dehinaha. So Bala Vruddhadishu. Then what is the next? Sneha Parihara Asahishnushu. Sneha Parihara Asahishnushu. Sneha Parihara Sahishnushu Bala Vruddhadishu. This Bala Vruddha etc. are coming under the group called Sneha Parihara Sahishnu. Sneha Pariharam, the Pariharam required during Snehapanam. Pariharam, Upacharam, what we were explaining earlier, like Ushnodagopachari Syad, Brahmachari Kshapashayaha. We have seen that instructions. So that is Sneha Pariharam. Asahishnu, somebody who cannot tolerate is Asahishnu. So somebody who cannot tolerate the restrictions and suggestions given in connection with Snehapana, like Ushnodagopachari Syad, Brahmachari Kshapashayah, etc. We have seen it earlier. I am not going to explain it again. So such persons, an example, Balavruddhadishu. Then Yoganiman Anudvegan Sadyah Snehan Prayojaye. Yoganiman. Iman Yogan. These yogas, what is the peculiarity or speciality of this yoga? These yogas, Anudvegan. Anudvegan, something which has no risk of complications. Anudvegada means there is no risk of complications. So here Anudvegan Yogan, Anudveginaha, Anudvega yogas are explained. And what is the advantage? It is not just Anudvega, Sadyasnehan Prayojayet. Sadyasnehan. They are having a peculiar property that they are Sadyasnehas. Sadya, quick. Sneham. Sadya Sneham. They are having a peculiar nature that they are Sadya Sneha. They bring about Snehana Sadya. Quickly, very fast. So, for Sneha Parihara Sahishnushu Balavruddhadishu, Iman Anudvegan Sadya Snehan Yogan Prayojayed. I am going to explain some yogas which are Anudvegan. which are also sadhya sneha. They are having no complications and which will make the snehana very fast. So I have giving a list. These yogas may be used in sneha parihara sahishnushu bala vruddhadishu. So that is an exceptional group. Bala vruddhadishu sneha parihara sahishnushu. That is an exceptional group. And the acharya or the author gives some special yogas for the sake of bringing snehana in such group. What are those yogas that we find in the next line? Prajyamamsarasaha teshu peyava snehbharjita tilachurnascha sasnehbhanitaha krishara तथा कृशरा तथा क्षीरपेया कृदाढ्योष्णा क्षीरपेया कृदाढ्योष्णा दध्नो वा सगुड सरः दध्नो वा सगुड सरः पेया च पंच प्रसृता स्नेहैस्तण्डुलपञ्चमैः स्नेहैः तण्डुलपञ्चमैः सप्तैते स्नेहनाः सद्यः स्नेहाश्च लवणोल्बणाः स्नेहाश्च लवणोल्बणाः. We will see them in detail. What is explained. प्राज्यमांसरसाः तेषु प्राज्यमांसरसास्तेषु पेयावा स्नेहभर्जिताः. So we find प्राज्यमांसरसाः. Pradyam Adhyay yukta, and that is one way of seeing it. Pradyamamsarasam, we find prabhudamamsani nishkwadhya tadrasaha. That is one way of explaining it. Prabhudamamsani nishkwadhya tadrasaha. So it is type of soup made from prabhuda mamsam. Prabhuda mamsa rasam. So soup made using huge bulk of mamsam. Prajya mamsa rasaha. Then peyava sneha bharjita. Peya, actually I think it is yavagu. Any type of yavagu can be used. It need not be peya alone. Any type of yavagu which is sneha bharjidam. Sneha bharjidam means which is added with the sneha. Sneha bharjidam, in which that some treating of the peya with the sneha is done. Sneha bharjida peya. Then tilachurnascha sasneha bhanitaha. Sasneha bhanitaha tilachurnaha. Tilachurnam. Tilachurnam. We all know tilachurnam. Along with the sneham and bhanitam. Sneham maybe in any form. Bhanitam is an ikshuvikaram. It is an ikshuvikaram. So sasneha bhanitaha tilachurnaha. Then krishara tatha. Tatha means in the same way. Same way means sasneha bhanitaha krisara. Sasneha bhanita krisara. Sasneham using ghee or any other form of sneha can be used. Krisara type of things we have already learned in our earlier chapters. Krisara is a type of preparation made with the tilam. We all know that. We have learned it. So, sasneha bhanitaha krisara. So, it is tila churnam or it is a cooked tilam is called that krisara. Krisara is a cooked, some called as kritanna. Krisara. Then, Kshirapeya kridadhyoshna. Kritadhya means with plenty of ghee. Ushna, hot or warm. Kshirapeya. Kshirapeya, peya added, prepared in kshira. So, kridadhyoshna kshirapeya. Then, dadhno va saguda saraha. Dadhnaha saraha. Dadhisaram. Dadhisaram mixed with the gudam. Dadhisaram mixed with the gudam. Then, peyacha panchaprasruta. Peyacha panchaprasruta. It is the name of a peya. Panchaprasruta peya. Panchaprasruta peya. What is the meaning behind that name? Sneha is Tandula Panchamai. All the snehas of various types are included as the uh, four prasrudas, initial prasrudas, and the fifth prasruda is Tandulam. Fifth prasrudam is Tandulam. So there are Panja prasrudas, of which four are by Sneha and one prasruda is Tandulam. So Sneha is Tandula Panchamaihi. Panja prasruda peya. So we find 7 combinations. Saptaide snehanaha sadhyaha. These 7 combinations can bring about snehana. How? Sadhya, very fast. Then snehascha lavanolbanaha. Lavanolbanaha snehaha cha sadhya snehanaha. If you use sneha with the ulbana avastha of lavana, the bearable maximum of lavana is added to sneham. Then that sneham also can bring snehana in small quantity but very fast without any snehodvegam or any other complications. Sneha parihara asahishnushu, it can be used. And the one explanation that we find regarding this lavana prayogam is in the next line, that is tadhya abhishyandya ruksham cha. Tadhi abhishyandi aruksham cha sukshma ushnam vyavai cha. Tadhi, tad lavanam. Tad lavanam hi, that sneha, that lavana is abhishyandi. Here abhishyandi means kabhavarthagam. Aruksham means snigdham, but not like sneha, but it is also snigdha. Sukshmam, lavana has got the sukshma property, so it can move through the srotas easily. Ushnam, it has got ushna property, so it can facilitate the sneha karma. Vyavai cha, vyavai again shows the capacity to spread in the body. So tadhi abhishyandi arukshamcha. Tadhi abhishyandi arukshamcha. Sukshmamushnam vyavaicha. Sukshmamushnam vyavaicha. So that is why snehascha lavanolbana can be used as sadhya snehanam. Okay. So we find sadhya prayogas. I will read it once again. Balavruddhadishu स्नेहपरिहारासहिष्णुषु योगानिमाननुद्वेगान् सद्यः स्नेहान् प्रयोजयेत् प्राज्यमांसरसास्तेषु पेयावा स्नेहभर्जिता. This Prajyamamsam is Prabhuda Mamsada. That is the generally accepted meaning. Prajyamamsa rasas peshu peyava sneha bharjita tilachurnascha sasneha bhanitaha krishara tadha kshirapeya kridadhyoshna dadhrova saguda saraha पेयाच पंच प्रसृता स्नेहैस्तण्डुलपञ्चमै सप्तैते स्नेहनाः सद्यः स्नेहाश्च लवणोल्बणा तद्ध्यभिष्यन्त्यरूक्षं च सूक्ष्मौष्णं व्यवायि च. Now we find the next situation where extra care is to be taken. What is that? Gudanubamisha kshira tilamasha sura dadhi kushta shobha prameheshu snehartham na prakalpayed. Gudanuba amisham guda anubamisha kshira tila masha sura dadhi. Guda anupamisha kshira tila masha sura dadhi kushta shobha prameheshu snehartham na prakalpayed. Snehanartham na kalpayed. Such a pathabhedam is also there. Now, if you look at the stuff, the meaning is the first line indicates or gives a list of materials. Gudam, Anupamamsam, Kshiram, Tilam, Masham, Sura, Dadhi. These substances, Snehartham na prakalpayed, may not be used for Snehana. So, all these are having Snehana property. All these are having snigdhada, so they can be used for snehana, but here we find snehartham na prakalpayed. Snehartham na prakalpayed. So it is a special advice. Which are the situations where they should not be used? Kushtha shobha prameheshu. In kushtha, in shobha, in prameha. Kushtam, Shobham and Prameham is all the three are having peculiar nature of Abhishyanda. Abhishyanda in Rakta sometimes, in Rasa sometimes, in Medas sometimes, in Koshta it is primarily in the Rakta. Of course, it is there in other all dhadus, but primarily in Shobha it is there with the Rasarekta. In Prameha, it is with the Rasarekta Mamsa and Medas primarily or predominantly in Medas. So, in those sort of Abhishyandavastha, all those stuffs which are given in the first line will unnecessarily and uncontrollably increase that Abhishyandavastha, making the situation worse from bad. So in such cases, snehartham na prakalpayed, they may not be used in the snehana karma. Then what will we do in such a situation like a kushtam? We are in need of doing a snehanam. Or in a case of prameham, we are planning to go for a shodhanam. What should be used as snehanam? These are questions which are of clinical relevance. So the next line we find Tribhala pippali pathya Gugulvadi vipachitan snehan yatha swavedesham yojayed avikarinaha. Tribhala pippali pathya Gugulvadi. Tribhala pippali pathya Gugulu adi. So we find one group here and adi is given. Tribhala, pippali, pathya, Gugulu, adi. So what is the advantage of Tribhala, Pippali, Pathya, Gugulu, Adi? They are all Abhishyanda Hara Dravyas. They do not increase or add on to the Samprapti for the worsening of the Samprapti. So what should you do? You should prepare Sneha, Vipachitan Snehan, Tribhala, Pippali, Pathya, Gugulu, Adi, Vipachitan Snehan. How? Avikarinaha snehan yathaswam. Yathaswam means appropriately or accordingly to the condition, whichever is the best suiting, use that and prepare sneha using that dravya. And then you may use it. Yathaswam. Yathaswam means according to that particular one. Yathayogyam. Yathayogyam. And Avikarinaha. Avikarinaha, that is also important. This sneha should not be contributing to the vikara, worsening of the vikara. So, avikarinaha snehan yathaswam edesham yojayed. So, in such conditions like kushta shobha prameha, proper sneha shall be used using Tribhala, Pippali, Pathya, Gugulu, Adi. There may be other items that can be included in this list, which will be uh, appropriate to the particular Samprapti. So, Yathaswam Edesham Yojayed Avikarinaha. So, that exception or that special mentioning is also done. Then Kshinanam Twamayaihi Agnideha Sandhukshana Kshaman. Kshinanam Twamayaihi Agnideha Sandhukshana Kshaman. We will find Kshinanam tu Amayaihi Vyadhibhi. Kshinanam Amayaihi Kshinanam means Vyadhikshina. For Vyadhikshina people, somebody who has become very weak because of a disease, and you decide to give some snehana to recuperate, then in such situations, Kshinanam tu Amayehi Agni Deha Sandhukshana Kshaman Snehan Yojayed. Agni Sandhukshana Kshaman. Deha Sandhukshana Kshaman. So, Agni Sandhukshanam means Agni Deepanam. Deha Sandhukshanam means Deha Pushtikaram. So, Agni Deepanam and Pushtikaram. We find this in many situations, isn't it? Hridya Deepana Bhaishadya Samyogad Ruchi Paktidan. So, that sort of explanations regarding Sneha we have seen. So, here it is highlighted. If you are planning to give sneha to a vyadhikshina person, you may give agni deha sandhukshana kshaman. Those snehas which are having the capacity or potential to bring agni deepti and deha pushti. Example, Indugandam. Okay. So such snehas may be used in this Amayehi Kshinanam. So that is also a special advice. So with that, we have come to the advices regarding this sort of sneha bhavana, and then the chapter is concluded with the with a statement, with a promising statement, or with a tempting statement, where the advantages of doing a proper sneha bhavana is highlighted. What is that? Deeptandaragnihi Parishuddha प्रत्यग्रधातुः बलवर्णयुक्तः दृढेन्द्रियो मन्दजरः शतायुः शतायुः स्नेहोपसेवी पुरुषः प्रदिष्टः स्नेहोपसेवी पुरुषः प्रदिष्टः दीप्तान्तराग्निः परिशुद्धकोष्ठः प्रत्यग्रधातुः बलवर्णयुक्तः दृढेन्द्रियः मन्दजरः शदायुः स्नेहोपयोगी पुरुषः स्नेहोपसेवी और स्नेहोपयोगी पुरुषः प्रतिष्ठः. So snehopasevi purushaha, a purusha, a man or person who uses upasevitaha, upasevi, who consumes sneha, has got these advantages. What are they? Deeptandaragnihi, Deepta Andaragni becomes Deeptam. Parishuddha Koshtha, Koshtha becomes Parishuddham. Pratyagra Dhaduhu, Dhadu is becoming Nutanam. Day by day, the Dhatu. So, Dhadu is getting replenished with new nourishing components, fresh nourishments. Pratyagra Dhaduhu. Bala Varna Yuktaha, Bala Yuktaha, Varna Yuktaha cha. Both are signs of Arogyam. Dridhendriyaha, Dridhendriyaha, Indriya Dardhyam. Manda Jaraha, Jara is absent or slow to that extent where it is not visible. Shatayuhu, Shatayuhu, Purnayuhu. Shatayuhu means 100 years, which is supposed to be the Purnayus. Shatayuhu. Snehopasevi Purushaha Pradishtaha. Snehopasevi Purushaha will get all these advantages. Pradishtaha, it is told that a person who consumes sneha in a proper way as advised in the Shastra will have these advantages like Deeptantaragnihi, Parishuddha Koshtha, Pratyagradhaduhu, Balavarnayuktaha, Dridhendriyaha, Mandajaraha, Shatayuhu cha. With that, we conclude this Snehvidhi Adhyayam. Idi Sri Vaidyapati Simhaguptasunu Srimad Vagbhada Virajitayam Ashtanga Hridaya Samhitayam Sutrasthane Snehavidhirnama Shodasho Adhyaya. So we conclude that. Nilesh, one more chapter finished.
Yes, sir. Yes, Prasad, sir. Definitely. It's been a wonderful journey with you to understand Ashtanga Hridaya. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. You are audible. You are audible.
Yeah. So,
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. Nilesh is there? Nilesh is no more audible.
I am Ashwin, sir.
Oh yes.
Sir, sir, when we say that the outcome of the treatment is the response of the body to the stimulus,
Yeah.
treatment is also a stimulus,
Yes.
and here the response of the body,
Hmm.
it can utilize this stimulus for its own purpose in handling the situation inside also, no, sir?
It can repeat the question.
It, as in case of the treatment,
Hmm.
body can utilize the help or the stimulus as a medicine, the stimulus from
Hmm.
the medicine, it can
Hmm.
utilize the properties of the medicines for its own purpose and utilize for countering the situation inside also.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And
It is the V.
sometimes, yeah. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
There are, I mean, I just needed to know this immunomodulator medicines, whatever it
Hmm.
is, they won't be taking care of whatever it is happening inside the system or the healer inside the system. The healing capacity of the system is not taken into any consideration before, without that they act. Is it right, no, sir?
Yeah. Could be. Could be. I'm not very familiar with that pharmacology.
No, I'm
Maybe
also
like
not, but the word I just was thinking when the immunomodulating medicines.
to be very honest, I have no idea. Or these technical
Hmm.
terms, especially the modern technical terms, will be becoming more and more complex day by day, and they will make things, ideas more and more confused. So,
Confused also because sometimes
so
because all the stakeholders in that situations are because yeah, as the years passes they come to know there is one more stakeholder in considering that. That's why it is confusing all the time.
mm,
And Vyadhihara medicines, what they do, sir? I mean, when the
all
Vyadhi
all
Pratyane.
all medicines will
Yes.
be provoking the system. All medicines.
Hmm.
You see, shamanam, kopanam, swasthahidam. So
Hmm.
except the swasthahidam, the other two types are shamanam and kopanam. Both these actions are responses of the body to a particular virya.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yes.
Ahara dravyas are those which are not supposed to provoke the body. So
Hmm.
if we take something as provoking as ahara, that should be considered as viruddha.
Hmm. Hmm.
Ahara dravya should not provoke the body,
Hmm.
whereas aushadha dravyas should do it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. 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 Very much true, sir. Hmm. Even that's why we have to be very careful in even the introduction of the medicine. Even though it is helpful, after a point of time, it can be harmful also.
It can be, or it can be inert also. The body will act in a udasina type, in a udasina way to any
Hmm.
powerful medicine.
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
it has no meaning.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm. And also, I have posted in the chat box requesting for the before the next chapter begins, as you asked to remind about the ama and nirama status of the doshas to be explained in one session.
Next session will be on 3rd. I will not
Hmm.
be available on 3rd. 3rd
Hmm.
will be a off day for the session. We have some. I hope we can take our next session on 10th if everything is favorable. There's one more program pending on 10th, but I hope we'll be able to take it.
Okay.
The other programs